Welcome everyone back to weekly weather updates, and in today's video we're going to have a look at the latest from the live radar, run through the UKV, have a look at the precipitation and the temperature over the next 5 days, as this upcoming working week is likely to still be fairly unsettled and fairly cool as well. Could still see temperatures get into the low 20s in places, but we're not looking much higher than that with many areas back into the mid to high teens, so below average for the time of year. But as we have spoken about in the last few videos, there's looking a high probability now as we head into next weekend, we do see some hot and humid air arriving. There still is a lot of uncertainty what that will entail at the surface, whether we'll see hot weather with higher pressure, or whether we'll see some more humid, hotter conditions, but also very thundery with lower pressure involved. Just as we think one of the scenarios is becoming favourable, we do see runs showing something slightly differently. And once again, the GM today is showing a heatwave sort of pattern, with it not only turning hot and dry next weekend, but with that sort of pattern recurring and continuing through many of the days through the middle of July. So very interesting seeing that as well. So do remember, if you enjoy videos, make sure you like and subscribe, and remember to follow me on Twitter as well, the link's in the description. So do start on the live radar. You can see there is some persistent rain to the northern Isles of Scotland, but mostly off mainland regions. But elsewhere to the south of that, we've got plenty of showers around. Mostly sort of moderate intensity, some reds and oranges appearing, which are some more torrential spells, but once again, nothing too widespread. Most of these showers passing through quite quickly, and again, the heaviest rain is over the highland regions. But still, if you catch one of these showers, you will know about it, and it will be pretty horrible underneath it. But those showers do really drop off as soon as you get to sort of Yorkshire southwards and sort of central parts of the Republic of Ireland and southwards too. Again, very minimal showers to the south of that, and a fairly pleasant day, plenty of sunshine. Again, not particularly warm with cooler air masses around, but still fairly pleasant. Calling this around 4 PM, you can see the best conditions are in the south at the moment. Again, they're not particularly warm, still really hovering around average for the time of year. Again, feeling warmer than average when we do factor in that sunshine. Still feeling really pleasant. But it's important we have had sunshine today. Other days coming up, we probably won't have as much sunshine. And even with the same upper air temperatures and the same sort of overall conditions, other than cloud cover, it will take a much bigger hit to those temperatures. So you can see south and eastwards warm today, but nothing spectacular. Further northwards and westwards, definitely on the cool side under those showers. Now, if we do run over to the UKV and have a look at the precipitation and the temperature over the next 5 days, you can see this afternoon all those showers in northern regions, and they'll continue through this evening before slowly petering away overnight, before could reactivate in intensity through the early hours of the morning through western Scotland, northern Scotland, and we could see an area of quite heavy, persistent rain moving into parts of western Republic of Ireland. A small little system developing there, and that does progress eastwards and give some more heavy rain through the early afternoon through northwest England, towards sort of the Liverpool region, up toward Yorkshire, out across northeast coasts through the afternoon. Another change to tomorrow is, yes, we'll still see some sunnier spells, but that shower activity will be spread from north to south here, with showers reaching down towards the south coast as well. Not quite as heavy and as intense and concentrated as today has been in the north, but more widespread. So all regions will have the risk of showers tomorrow, but most of them are light to moderate intensity. A few, perhaps, could be heavy. As we progress through Monday evening into Tuesday, could see some persistent rain in southern England, but again should really only impact regions through the early hours of the morning, maybe the far southeast into rush hour around 8-9 AM, but hopefully that does quicken up and spreads away before most people get up. As we do, hopefully that does speed up in its timeline, spreading through before 9 AM or so. For the northwards, a few showers once again, most of them moderate in intensity again, and could be a few heavy, maybe thundery showers even breaking out across the Republic of Ireland, but again, another day of sunshine and showers. The showers will move away through Tuesday evening and into Wednesday. It will be another day of sunshine and showers. Again, could be some heavy thundery showers breaking out at times, so again, they look isolated and fairly scattered, so it shouldn't be anything too severe. And then as we head into Wednesday evening, could be some persistent rain across the far south coast. Again, uncertain how much of that will spread inland. And then into Thursday afternoon, another day of showers in the north and east, but further south to westwards, cutting those showers off a little bit, but some thicker cloud moving in as we do see a weather front approaching. Now, this is this low pressure system that is developing out to our west and eventually does pull up some very warm air from the south into the next weekend when we do see that hot and humid air move in. So this is the weather front, and ahead of it we'll see some warm air. At this point, nothing too particularly warm is getting up. Again, average air masses here, but the very warm conditions will start to move in as we do see that southerly flow. You can see the winds are coming up from the south here, ahead of that low pressure system, and we'll start to see warm conditions move in. We have thought previously this week that perhaps that low pressure system out to our west could have moved in, sat nearby, and provided some stormier conditions, but you can see it is sat out to the west, and the strongest winds may impact Western Republic of Ireland and Northern Ireland, 50, maybe as high as 60 mile per hour gusts here, but nothing too severe. Not spinning up as much, but it could spin up a bit further into the weekend. But as I said, it looking likely for its positioning to stay out to our west. So that shouldn't be too much of an issue. But if you're on the west coast of the Republic of Ireland and Northern Ireland, there could be some stormier conditions, some very gusty winds, perhaps through Friday into the weekend. But we'll update this again nearer the time. If you look at the max temperatures, as you can see this afternoon, maybe peaking at 20 to 22 in the southeast, but most regions mid to high teens. Into Monday, probably be a repeat. Again, maybe 20 to 22, but again, mid to high teens. Pretty bad for this time of year. Wouldn't be surprised if we see the CET updated in a few days' time, seeing it through the first 5 days of July, or even more, being well below average. Huge contrast to June, which has been 3 degrees plus above average in terms of the CET. Move through to Tuesday, again, similar day, 20 to 22 in the south and the east, but that really is at best, most regions mid to high teens. And then finally into Wednesday, again, 20 to 22 across maybe more central areas, and again, mid to high teens elsewhere. And then finally into Thursday afternoon, could be slightly higher, more widely, 20 to 24 perhaps. And again, further north to westwards to that, still high teens. But slowly warming up, and again signs that air mass is starting to increase in intensity up from the south. Again, nothing particularly warm. This is really getting to average, maybe touching slightly above average in a few spots. Nothing spectacular at all, but definitely starting to warm up again. Signs of that southerly flow starting to move in. But these are the next 5 days in detail. The real interesting things coming next weekend. Only look at that in the in the longer range runs now, and you can see at the moment we have got that low pressure out to our northeast, bringing in northerly winds, and that's why it's pretty cool at the moment and will be cool over the coming days. But this does evolve eventually into a warmer pattern. You can see by Thursday, Friday that low pressure spins up out in the Atlantic, could just about impact Northern Ireland and the Republic of Ireland here. But it stays more out in the Atlantic, and it draws up the southerly wind into the weekend. Very strong southerly wind, very warm, if not hot air mass moving in. Temporarily on the GFS, because the low pressure winds back in, another low develops just to the south here, moving through the Bay of Biscay. Again, could be very thundery along that as that moves in. So that's something we also need to keep an eye on. GFS definitely going for a hotter, but also very unsettled, thundery sort of pattern. But beyond that, we stay low pressure out to our west and continue the flow from the south and the west all the way to 240 hours, for eventually more of a westerly flow does prevail, staying really unsettled here actually with low pressure moving in. So GFS looking very unsettled, but it does have warmer, hotter patterns at times. Again, you can see here as we head into next weekend, 15-degree isotherm moving in. Again, temporarily only hanging around for sort of 24 hours or so before, again, cooler air moving in, and then another batch of warm air Tuesday, Wednesday. So GFS definitely very up and down, but nevertheless does bring in that warmer air. We'll see temperatures where we do avoid showers and storms, getting into mid to high 20s quite widely with this sort of air mass. So GFS, nothing hugely hot, nothing hugely warm, really at all, but it does provide that hotter, humid air for big thunderstorms and isolated hot temperatures where we avoid those storms. But it's in contrast to the GEM, definitely, which does provide something drier and even hotter. Again, low pressure continues to dominate over the coming days, but as that low develops in the Atlantic, it develops and sort of sits maybe a few hundred miles further westwards. And what this allows is high pressure to build more in and to sustain that southerly wind. As we head towards day 10, we stay more under high pressure, and the wind just remains up from the south. Look at the upper air temperatures, engulfing into the 10 to 15 degree isotherm. Again, nothing too ridiculous. Again, wouldn't give temperatures much higher than maybe 30 degrees, but regardless, it's still very warm. And yeah, very sustained warmth here. Again, we look at the United Kingdom temperatures here. Again, widely mid to high 20s. Again, these are low resolution. And these are the midday temperatures, not the 3 p.m. temperatures, which will be a good few degrees higher. So yeah, widely mid to high 20s, maybe isolated 30 degrees, depending on the exact microclimate conditions. So GM definitely going for something more sustained and something hotter as we head into next weekend and beyond. Now if we have a look at what the ECMWF is showing, again, low pressure dominating over the coming days. Eventually we do pull up that southerly flow into the weekend. Another quite unsettled southerly flow though, with low pressure nearby, sat just off the coast of the Republic of Ireland. It would be pretty stormy in terms of thunderstorms with this. And then eventually towards day 10 we do see the low pressure sweep by and we go into a more of a westerly flow. And you can see upper air temperatures by day 10 aren't anything too spectacular. But while that low pressure spins up from Friday into Saturday, it does drag in some very warm air. Warm air's in for early hours of Saturday. By Saturday afternoon, we're into some pretty hot air, the 15 degree isotherm moving in, and could see it peak around 15 degrees or so at 850 HPA through Saturday into Sunday, which would give temperatures, as I said, perhaps in excess of 30 degrees, 30 to maybe 32, depending on the exact conditions and exact timings before eventually it does move away. So ECMWF quite similar to the GFS, perhaps a bit longer lasting with the hotter air, but definitely quite potent with that low pressure and risk of some thundery weather. Now, if you look at the ensembles, you can see this here, pretty cool over the next few days. We've got some higher rainfall totals later this week. We do see more showers and perhaps some persistent rain in the south. Again, we need to keep an eye on that near at the time. Again, this is looking Wednesday, Thursday time. Into next weekend, very likely now we go above average by maybe about 5 degrees or so, and some runs even getting higher than that, up to maybe as high as 10 degrees above average, up towards the mid-teens at 850 HPA, like the operational run does, but it really only sits there for 12 to 24 hours before moves back down below average, and then above average as we head into next week. Precipitation does pick up as well, indicative of more shower and thunderstorm activity with that, but generally in the long term it stays fairly unsettled and stays fairly around average. So this warmer spell we see next weekend into early next week really is looking like a bit of a snap of warm air, a bit of a hot plume perhaps, and maybe it might not even be that hot. Things are still very uncertain, but it doesn't look likely to have much legs to it at this stage, or I mean not looking like to have much more legs than maybe 3 to 5 days. Again, the 2 meter temperatures do peak next weekend, getting up towards the mid-20s. Uncertainty, though, as we do head towards Monday to Wednesday time, with some going into the 30s, others into the high teens, low 20s. Again, the dew points good indicator of the sort of type of air mass. You can see hovering around the sort of the 6 to 10 degree mark over the next 5 days, and then jumping to around the 10 to 14 degree mark. Again, doesn't sound like a huge difference, but in terms of humidity, feel like temperature, it does make quite a bit of difference, and just shows you that it's a much warmer, humid air mass from the south, capable of producing more showers and storms. Again, the ECMWF ensembles, see how they do compare. Again, we see something very similar, even a bit more of a smoother curve here. So, more agreement from the ensembles. Again, cooler conditions over the next 5 days, a few degrees below average. Definitely looking like some heavier rain through Wednesday into Thursday, or Tuesday to sort of Thursday time. And then we see a bit of a dry spell Friday, maybe Saturday. And then we do see a big jump in those upper temperatures through the Saturday period, and higher precipitation as well, indicating showers and storms. So, again, similar to the GFS, does tail off a bit, down towards average again. So it's looking like what the ensembles and most of the runs do have is a hot spell next weekend, but quite a few showers and storms arriving with that. But not lasting much longer than maybe 2-3 days, maybe as high as 4 or 5, like the GEM is showing. So we're not looking like a massive a huge overall change. We're looking at perhaps a brief spell of something warmer and more thundery once again. Things could play out differently. The end of this warmer thundery spell next sort of Tuesday, Wednesday time is around 10 days away, so in the uncertain time frame. So we'll just have to keep a close eye on it, but that's looking like the most likely pattern next weekend. Thundery, but also quite warm and hot. And of course, thundery patterns, they're not thundery everywhere. That's the overall sort of spectrum. There'll be thunderstorms somewhere, but there'll still be probably plenty of regions that stay very dry, and with those warmer air masses, could be perfect conditions, sort of mid to high 20s, to enjoy the outdoors and enjoy some proper summery conditions. So even though I do say it is looking likely to be thundery on the pressure charts, we'll have to really wait until sort of Wednesday, Thursday time once we get to the short range runs looking at it, exactly what that shower activity will entail. So anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you have enjoyed. If you're looking forward to something a bit warmer, and you do enjoy thunderstorms as well, the next weekend is looking like a perfect period. But if you do enjoy this sort of cooler feel at the moment, definitely dry and sunny at times, but a bit showery, then the next 5 days are looking perfect as well for you. So anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you have enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you again for another video soon.